This is Amrita Varma for the Wall Art TV, and I am at Nature Mart, New Delhi. And there's this show called Titilation Gratification, which is a four-artist show. I have with me bassist Kumar right now, whose work you can see in the background. Hi, bassist.
Hello.
Hi. Tell me a little bit more about your work and why do you choose the kind of visuals you do?
Well, basically, these work is more or less kind of body of work. Like especially these three works over here is like I did over like it's basically over me, and it talks about about desires. Like we have the difference of desires. Like sometimes we have different kind of desires, and then suddenly when you get aloof, then you see that these two desires or more than two desires can like conflict with each other, which doesn't seem very relevant. So it's about that. Like it could be, you can divide it into materialism and like materialistic approach and a spiritual approach. So it's very simplified. Like I put it into a very simplified way. Like over here, it's like this archer you can see is like Kamdev. Here his chariot parrot, and me watching somewhere in the open sky, a open bird, a free bird. So it's like biologically I'm still kind of enslaved with these things, but there is always a part of me which wants to break free from all these bondages, you can say. So there are like several levels of desires, I would say.
And this one's called Proximity of Desire.
Exactly.
What about this particular work? Free will.
Yeah, this free will is, this work is actually, I have been inspired by a lot of activists and kind of, you can say people who are working for more greener world. So if I see that, it really affects me, like kind of pollution we have, a kind of noise pollution we have and everything. So it's like kind of approach, like we do use very, like the way I live my life, even though I love to live in a greener space and a more natural ambience, but it won't lead me to, my own habits won't lead me to be in such a situation. So it was, again, you can say that like there is a kind of contradiction within us. So we have to change ourselves before we point fingers towards others. So it's like a dead painting for me. It's like there is a mirror, so person.
There's a mask also.
Exactly. So it's basically for we people. It's a like dressing table, we like for generally used stuffs, and we can say even faith. Like as I've used some idol statues and all. So it's kind of a division, you can say.
Okay.
And this basically represents people who are weaving it, the mirror. Yeah.
It's also like, I think probably the viewer who comes and views this work needs to have a little bit of self-reflection.
Exactly, it's that only.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you.
I'm with Josh P.S. now, and Josh has had a very interesting solo with Mirchandani and Steinhardt earlier. He's presenting another body of works here, which is very, very, I mean, it's got a lot to do with the roots in this country, but I really would like to know what this is all about.
This is a mosque which is most ancient in India, been found by a king who belonged to Chera dynasty, which is the longest ruling dynasty in India, which started from 1st century BC, before Sangam period, to 12th century. And there are so many interesting factors about this mosque. This mosque is the only mosque which looks like a temple, and which has got a lamp lit inside for for many years. And there are so many stories behind it. And here the thing is that his palace, this is the mosque he found, and his palace is not there, which has gone under earth.
Oh, and the mosque survives.
Mosque survives. Okay, so this is something which is very ironic, that the palace of the person which is shattered and scattered, and something which he found is that is being taken care of. That is being taken care by people. Okay, and the other thing is that this is actually, the mosque is actually existing there, but it is covered by a new mosque, which its architecture is like a conventional mosque. Okay, and some part of this old mosque is being demolished. And what they did is they made a maquette, a model of the old mosque and kept it in a museum. This is actually that model which is kept inside a museum which is near to Chairman Perumal Mosque. Okay, so I found it very,
I see a lot of reflection of, like earlier your body of works was very political. The earlier show which you had done at Mirchandani.
Yeah.
Here you seem to be referring to certain historical context and certain structures architecturally which have something to do with roots. The roots.
Definitely, yeah. See, this show in one way or another, referring back to the actual people who live there, whom does this land belong to is definitely a question for me. Otherwise, I have chosen places in such a way that, when you go through the history, you won't be always satisfied with what is written about it, so I choose that, and I thought that there should be an intervention. And again, when historical writing, it is entirely different, and when you go there as a person, when you refer history as a human being, there are so many things which is not referred in the historical text. Whenever there is a war happening, so many people disappear in that. So 1,000 years of history means a lot. So I am actually paying a homage to those people who are not really been noticed or written anywhere. Many things like that. In a way, kind of as an artist, giving justice to those written text. Yeah. And everywhere it is when you are reading about one particular event, it is being written in several ways.
Yeah, so perspectives also different.
Obviously that is not the truth then. So a picture which can remain neutral, I think that it can one day, get back to what is actually happened.
And then you have this work here,
Yeah.
which is basically some kind of plastic covered on some stone structure.
No, it is actually, there was an excavation happened in a fort near Kodunallur, which was actually been built by Portuguese. Then Dutch captured it. Then later Travancore Maharaja bought it. Then Tipu Sultan occupied it.
Right.
And before Tipu Sultan had to leave that fort because Mysore was attacked by British. So he left, but before he left the fort, he shattered it. Means he used all his gunpowder for spoil, blast it. And the excavation site is like this now. When I went there, it is not open to public. They have covered the excavated areas like this to.
So this was another dimension of what you were looking at.
Yeah, one is history. The second thing is that again, excavation in one way or another reveals so many factors, which is again been hidden from the public. That is again being concealed by a certain structure for some matter. Yeah, so for some reason.
And what's the other work?
This one, yeah, this is the this excavation happened where Chairman Perumal's palace were here. So, and this is supposed to be the foundation of that palace. So when you see these two places, which is next to each other, like a kilometer away or something. So here it is very prominent that it has been shattered by somebody, intentionally. So otherwise now, if you are going to that area, there are myths a group of people they are saying that even Chairman Perumal, this person never lived. It was a myth. Okay. And similarly, when he found a mosque, his own idol is being worshipped in a temple there. Tiruvanchikulam, it's a famous Shiva temple. So there are myths connected to Shiva also, about him. So all these are a different amalgam. Different people have got different story to tell about. And one thing is very true, that his palace is being shattered by a group of maybe. And he was the last king when the Chera dynasty ended. It has never gone further.
I'm with Haraprasad Tripathi, and he's got some very interesting works here, which are small format. Haraprasad, ये जो काम है, इनमें मैं political figures भी देखती हूँ, पर आप कहते हैं कि ये political नहीं है, तो ये कैसे?
पॉलिटिकल फिगर जो है हमारा, पॉलिटिक्स होता है क्या फर्स्ट, ठीक है। गांधी पॉलिटिक्स करते थे? नहीं, फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल नहीं। गांधी सर्व करते थे, ठीक है। कांग्रेस पार्टी जब आया इंडिया में, गांधी जी ने इस्टेब्लिश नहीं किया था, लेकिन उनको हम बोलते हैं गांधी जी ने किया था, ठीक है। तो एक कांग्रेस पार्टी के हिसाब से गांधी जी को बोल दिया जाए कि वो है पॉलिटिकल, नहीं। गांधी जी को मैंने ऐसा नहीं देखा है, ठीक है। मैंने गांधी जी को कैसा देखा है? गांधी जी का ईमानदारी देखा है, गांधी जी का एक ब्यूटीफुल सोल देखा है मैंने, ठीक है। गांधी जी क्या बोले? लॉन्ग बिफोर एम.के. गांधी सेड नो फियर, बहुत दिन पहले गांधी बोले थे आप डरो मत। इसका मीनिंग मेरे लिए ऐसा होता है कि डर का एंड से फ्रीडम शुरू होता है, ठीक है। और मैंने बिलीव करता हूँ हर इंसान को 2 राइट होते हैं जो गॉड गिफ्टेड होते हैं, गॉड देते हैं। पहला जब उसका बात होता है, उसको कोई धर्म वर्म नहीं दिया जाता है, उसको दिया जाता है फ्रीडम दिया जाता है। आप जीने के लिए आपका मर्जी के हिसाब से आप जियो, ठीक है। जो चाहिए वो कर सको, ठीक है। दूसरा चीज़ है, आपका इंडियन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन दिया है राइट टू स्पीक। आप जो चाहते हो आपका भारत सरकार दिया गया है, जो देते हैं तो आप बोल सको, ठीक है। एक काम का मीनिंग वही होता है।
आपका ये आप इस काम के बारे में हमें कुछ बताइए।
पोर्ट्रेट ऑफ ए लास्ट फिलोसोफर बट स्टिल ही इज एग्जिस्ट, ठीक है। एक पोर्ट्रेट ऑफ ए लास्ट फिलोसोफर, मैंने सारे काम एक फिलोसॉफी बुक पढ़ने के बाद ये सारे काम मैंने लिया है, और बेसिकली इंडियन फिलोसॉफी पढ़ने के बाद, जिसमें आता है गीता आता है, ठीक है, जिसमें आता है आपका विवेकानंद आता है। मैं बहुत बड़ा फैन हूँ विवेकानंद का, ठीक है। ये गांधीयन फिलोसॉफी है। पोर्ट्रेट ऑफ ए लास्ट फिलोसोफर बट स्टिल ही इज एग्जिस्ट। पोर्ट्रेट ऑफ ए लास्ट फिलोसोफर, मैंने फिलोसोफर को देखा नहीं, जिसका बुक पढ़ा है मैंने देखा नहीं, तो उसको कैसा, उसका कोई पोर्ट्रेट नहीं बना सकता है मैंने, ठीक है। तो एक एज एन आर्टिस्ट क्या कर सकता हूँ? स्कल ले सकता हूँ, और हर स्कल एक ही जैसा दिखता है ना, ठीक है। फॉर्मली दिखता है, नहीं है साइंटिफिकली, बट फॉर्मली दिखता है एक ही तरह, ठीक है। तो बट स्टिल ही इज एग्जिस्ट। वो चले गए, अभी तक भी जिंदे हैं। तो क्या जिंदा है? गीता में बोल रहे थर्स रह जाता है, या फिर पहले बोला थर्स भी रह जाता है, और गीता में बोला है आप मरते भी नहीं हो और जिंदा भी नहीं होते हो। समझ में आ रहा है? तो वही है।
सो हमें प्रसाद, आप इस काम के बारे में कुछ बताएंगे? ये मुझे लगता है जैसे आपका खुद का पोर्ट्रेट है, आप बोल रहे थे।
हाँ, मैंने ये काम जब किया था, ये बहुत ही सेंसिबल मतलब परसेप्शन थ्रू गया था, ठीक है। और लुक एट मी, आई एम एन इनोसेंट सोल। पहले मैंने इमेज बनाया, ठीक है। मैं इमेज मेकिंग में बहुत पसंद है मुझे, ठीक है। बेसिकली मेरी इमेज मुझे बहुत पसंद है बनाने में, ठीक है। इस तरीका का काम है, ठीक है। लुक एट मी, आई एम एन इनोसेंट सोल। मुझे देखिए, मैं एक इनोसेंट सोल हूँ, ठीक है। जब मैंने पोर्ट्रेट बनाया था, ये मेरा सेल्फ पोर्ट्रेट है, लेकिन उसको ऐसा कन्वर्ट करना चाहता था, क्योंकि देखिए मैं जब भी काम करता हूँ, ठीक है, मेरा एक ही मोटिव रहता है, मैं फिनिश किया, दैट वर्क इज नॉट माइन, ठीक है। ये वर्क एटियंस का है, ठीक है। तो उसको वो कैसा रीड करते हैं, वो अगर रीड हो सकता है, वो पेंटिंग ऑन द व्यूअर्स, द स्पीच इफ वर्किंग हो रहा है, तो मुझे लगेगा कि ये काम सही चल रहा है, ठीक है। लुक एट मी, आई एम एन इनोसेंट सोल। आप जब भी देखेंगे, आप क्या सोचते हैं? मुझे देखो, मैं भी इनोसेंट। तो देन यू इमेजिन, मेरे पोर्ट्रेट को हटा के आप इमेजिन करने लगेंगे, समझ?
आप अपने आप को इधर प्लेस करना स्टार्ट कर देंगे।
हाँ, देन साइकोलॉजिकली व्हाट हैपन, वी ऑल आर सेम। You understand what Gita said?
You've come back to the core of this. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
I'm with Nidhi Agarwal right now, whose work you can see at the background here. Nidhi's got some really interesting stuff happening with her work. You know, there's some stickers and things happening, and a lot of paint. And Nidhi, how do you make your images, your visuals?
Yeah, I was very much impressed by the way the children were imitating these cartoon characters, because I have two kids and I used to constantly watch them, see them watching TV and then imitating, and my son, though, he was always on the bed, doing those actions, and even when I saw his friends and their friends, they were all doing the same thing. So I also observed that children in the villages, when we go to the hills and we see a small suburb, then I saw that those children were also doing the same. And the children who are in bigger cities like Singapore and elsewhere, they were also, impressed and were imitating these cartoon characters. So I thought it's a whole fashion which comes up and then it dwindles away. And then when I used to shop for my kids, I saw in the market it was all full of these latest cartoon characters, and even the parents were crazy, and they wanted every other t-shirt, whatever they want to buy, a t-shirt or a bag or stationery, they want to buy the one their child likes. The parents they also become like a child. So I thought I should use these beautiful stickers. They were so colorful and they give a very muralistic appeal. I wanted to use them on my canvases. I couldn't repel myself from purchasing these and using them on my canvases.
Okay, so it's actually the dynamism of life in there, and also the connection with how we kind of reciprocate to visual images.
Yeah, and I also see that it is also linked to the growing consumerist society, because the people, they want more and more design in what they want to buy and wear. So the golden spread over there, it is about the lavishness and the useless spending of money on packaging and designing.
Thank you so much, Nidhi.
Thank you so much.
Peter, how did you decide to conceive this show?
Well, of the four young artists, we have shown three of them before, and Josh P.S. many times actually. Josh has had a solo show here in our Niti Bike space in Delhi, plus we did it when we had the gallery in Calcutta, we did a solo show hidden with Josh is part of our stable of artists. Nidhi and bassist I've also had in group shows before, so they're just artists that I'm sort of, keeping tabs on, and they're sending me their new work, and this is the sort of summer show. It's the time of year when we do things. And then also because Josh's work now is smaller in scale, yet rather elaborate body of work and project, so it couldn't fill the whole space. And then the fourth guy, Hara Prasad Tripathi, just showed me his work, and I thought it was cool, and I liked it. Very well done. And here we are, these are the kind of shows I like to do also, because the space lends itself very well, where each artist can have their own space, so it's mixing artists together, but at the same time giving them their own space. So it's a bit of an overlap, but not at the same time.
And the title of the show, who decided that?
Well, I did, of course. I'm always looking for provocative titles that get people's attention and bring them in. And, that's what art is. Titilation and hopefully gratification. And does it for me.
Okay, great. Thanks, Peter.
Anytime.